Your Excellencies, distinguished members of this panel, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to begin by congratulating the government of the Arab Republic of Egypt on the official launch of the African Union Center for Post-Conflict Reconstruction and Development on 21st December 2021 in Cairo. Congratulations. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy for this opportunity to share my thoughts on how the AU mission in Mali and the Sahel, Sahel, can contribute to the PCRD efforts in the region. I would like to keep my intervention to the basics, speaking about those critical activities, notably stabilization through pacification and reconstruction, repatriation of refugees and internally displaced persons, and reinserting them into the social fabric, strengthening ethnic or inter-ethnic reconciliation through dialogue and peace meetings, reconstruction or reconstructing public infrastructure, wells, schools, hospitals, local administration, relaunching economic activities mainly in agriculture, animal husbandry, and handicraft, and furthering effective governance through appropriately necessary decentralization. Having said so, I would like in response to the moderator's first question, therefore, to point out that the existing AU strategy for the Sahel, which is the strategic guidance for Sahel, as well as its planned revision, both highlight the critical need for strong and effective coordination and complementarity of efforts between all actors on the ground. In the case of the G5 Sahel, drawing from my experience as the immediate past executive secretary, I can point out that Sahel can effectively steer the PCRD efforts in the G5 Sahel member countries using what is called in G5 Sahel the PIP, Programme d'investissement prioritaire, which is actually the development flagship of the G5 Sahel. What is required for this to happen, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, is to give bite to Sahel by making available to the mission the required human and material resources as outlined in its mandate and institutional arrangement, which the Peace and Security Council authorized when it established Sahel in 2013. Going forward, I would like to urge the PCRD Center to build upon the specific in-country peace-building activities carried out through Quick Impact or peace-strengthening projects to support countries such as the CAR, Comoros, Liberia, and Sierra Leone within the context of a PCRD policy framework during the last decade, and to also make available the required human and financial resources in that regard. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this takes me to the second question about the challenges facing Sahel in implementing the mission's PCRD mandate. As High Representative and head of Sahel, I would argue that capacity and resources limitations are perhaps the most serious twin challenge, not just for overall mandate implementation, but more so for the EU's PCRD in Mali and the Sahel. Let me give just one example. In terms of capacity, the Sahel PCRD unit employs only one expert responsible for planning, conceptualization, monitoring, and execution of projects and programs. This is quite an exhausting responsibility, even only for a situation like Mali, not to imagine for the broad Sahel, which is the area of responsibility of Sahel. With the launch and takeoff of PCRD Center now, we need to hastily move from institutional and policy development activities to real delivery on the ground in countries requiring PCRD interventions, particularly by making a full complement of staffing and financial resources available to liaison offices and mission across the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, with regards to the question of integrating and consolidating PCRD efforts when carrying out security pillars of a mandate, I'm confident that this can be facilitated mostly by establishing the required close cooperation and working relationship with our regional and international partners, especially those with institutional, technical, and resource capacity relevant to PCRD. And this is at the heart of all our continental normative frameworks and for that matter in the mandate of Sahel as well as the AU Sahel strategy. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and panelists, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. Thank you.